What is up? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Gaming Dads podcast is back on the air for the new year, the first podcast of 2021. My name is Tharoah, hanging out with Scotch and Tharoah. How you doing, Scotch?
Doing good, doing good. Happy New Year to you, my man.
You as well. I know there's lots of family stuff going on. I think I heard you earlier talking about some recipe, or at least that's what I hope you were talking about.
I've got my mother-in-law coming over. We're baking, so just a little bit of family togetherness. You know what I mean?
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
So,
cool. And I've got I'm driving back and forth to Colorado Springs over and over, hanging out with my kids, hanging out with friends and family. So yeah, it's good times. But speaking of good times, we've got a special guest this week on the podcast. Now, I know if you're in the speedrunning community, if you're in this Super Mario 64 community, you've heard this name before, right?
This you especially recently you would know this guy very, very, very well in the speedrunning, especially in the Mario community.
Right.
Am I really that widespread?
Yes. Yes. Here.
Honestly,
Charlie
I
Brown.
don't believe that.
Charlie Brown is joining us right now in the Gaming Dads studio.
What's up, everyone?
How you doing? I really appreciate. I wanted to thank you for getting up early on a Saturday morning to come and hang out and talk with us. A lot of good stuff going on for you over the past couple of weeks. We just wanted to kind of bring you in and talk to you about it and see your take on it. Now, I know that we just met recently. One of my passions within the speedrunning community is cheating and speedrunning. And I think that, honestly, cheating and speedrunning has brought a lot of people into speedrunning. They watch a lot of like Carl Jop's videos. They watch a lot of Easyscape, and that's kind of brought people to the community. So now, if I'm not mistaken, is this the first video on your channel?
Yeah, this is the first video I've ever done. It's like the first thing of like this scale I've ever even attempted. So like, it's honestly insane to me that it turned out like anywhere near as well as it did, honestly.
Well, and that was my first question for you. Like, you making this video, it being the one video on your channel, did you expect this? Is this something that you expected? Because no one really knew who this guy was before you made the video, and you come out with this just showing this because like Tharoah was saying, cheating and speedrunning is a problem. Fortunately, you had people in the community like yourself pointing it out. But this particular video, did you expect it to go where it went?
Not at all. Like, I expected this to probably get like 10,000 views at most. That was my number. That I was like, if I get 10,000 views, I'd be happy. Like, I did not expect this to go past like the Mario community, let alone like the 4.4 some million views.
4.4 million views. That's
it's like around that. Last time I checked, yeah.
Yep, and it's 4.43 million views. I'm looking at it right now. 12,000 comments. Like, how do you even keep up with that? You've got people. Simple Flips is commenting. I know that Cheese did a reaction video here recently.
Yeah.
So you didn't expect this at all.
No, not at all. Like, I expected like maybe like some of like the people in the Mario community to see it. And like, I don't know, it's like, yeah, Cheese did a reaction video, Simply watched it like the next day. Yep. They both rated me like on my stream, like I want to say like a couple days ago. Like, it was just like, I could not have expected this amount of growth. Like, I have 30K subscribers now. It's like, this does not happen very often.
It doesn't
on YouTube, I don't think. And it's just like, I just can't believe it happened to me. Like, this has been one of the craziest like week and a half of my entire life. I just seriously can't believe it.
I think a question that I have is, what made you decide to make this video? Like, kind of tell us the origin story of this video and why you wanted to make this particular video and, possibly other videos like it.
I mean, the idea started with just like, Shouts to my friend Youngest Gravy. We met like just on Twitch. He came into my stream one day, and yeah, we just hit it off really well. He showed me this run initially. Like him and like a couple other people just like noticed this guy streaming on Twitch, doing blindfolded speedruns or what appeared to be blindfolded speedruns. They even knew it was obviously fake. So I watched it on my stream, like just reacted to it. I thought it was hilarious, and then I was like, "Hey, this might make a really good video." So then I just spent like the next 10 days working on it, and then it came out.
And I'll tell you, Scotch and Tie Guy actually mentioned you on our podcast here. What that was either last episode or the episode before, and how you presented the video. It was all about the facts. It wasn't about the individual. It was about the action of the individual, and it was unapologetic almost.
Mm-hmm.
To where, hey, here's what it is. These are the reasons why I believe this. Now, I know that you've gotten this reaction from the community of holy crap, look at this guy. What is is it mainly positive, negative, any criticisms? What are you hearing from the SM64 community right now?
It's been mostly positive. I mean, like I'm seeing like the only people negative are like I think like the people who watched the guy initially or something.
Right.
But like I think I don't know. It's just like I've been getting so much support from like all the people in the Mario community, and like I was also really flattered. I listened to your guys' section on my video. I thought it was very well done, so I thank you.
Well, thank you.
That.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, and I mean like I don't know, it's just like crazy to me that like I haven't even been in this community for like a year. Like I started runs like I want to say around November or December of last year, but I didn't seriously start until like April of this year. So it's like but it's like the fact that like pretty much everyone in the community knows me now, like including like top players, you know, and like content creators, like it's just crazy to me. Like I've had most like 99% positive feedback and pretty much only positive feedback from the Mario community, and that's just like I don't know, it's really flattering.
Well, and that's just a sentiment to like what the speedrunning community as a whole is, and how they can react to these sorts of things. And I think again, like I said in the previous podcast, the way you presented it, it was so unapologetic, and it was fact based. It wasn't like let's crap on this guy, let's go after him. It was like, no, this isn't good. So like with that being said, what made you want to present it? What made you present it the way that you did? Not necessarily like why did you make the video, but because we see why you made the video, But what made you look at the video when editing it? You say, okay, this is how I want to show myself.
That's a really good question, because honestly, like I think I'm just lucky almost that I like had the foresight to just like know that maybe this video would get a little bit bigger, and so like I didn't want anyone to harass this guy over this. Like the point of the video, like I said this in my pinned comments, like the point of the video was not to like just dunk on this guy endlessly and like get everyone who saw the video to just like go after him. No, it was like the point was to just show like an interesting example of cheating in the Mario community, which has not happened very recently, Like,
it hasn't.
there hasn't been a notable instance since like maybe 2014. And so it's like I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, and like these kind of videos are important in a way, because it's just like the speedrun community, like everyone knows, it's built off like a system of trust and honor, and if people break that, then speedrunning goes away. There's no points. So it's like, in a way, like I don't know, you could say like it's helping. I don't know. I also just thought it was a funny thing to do, and people seem to think it was really funny too. So yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is we won't repeat the individual's name here. That's one thing, like you just said. It's super important that we look at the act, we don't look at the individual. But this individual came out 2 days ago with a video on New Year's Eve, basically stating, hey guys, yes, this particular one was fake. I thought everyone knew that. It was really interesting because at the very beginning of the video, it was the
yeah, that was it was a little bit
the classic YouTube apology video with the less sigh.
but here's my take. I've been in the speedrunning community now for about 4 years. I've had the opportunity to meet with some of the big guys, commentating at pace and just spending a lot of time with Global Speedrun Association, things like that. Here's the thing. And you can kind of explain your take, but this is my take. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me that hey guys, yes, I knew it was fake, especially throughout the video where he's trying to justify what he's doing as real. Why do you think someone would do this? Like, what do you think his motivation was?
Honestly, don't know. It's not really my place to make any judgments on his response or, what he said about whether, because he said it was a joke the whole time, What I
Right.
will say is, I mean, like, at the time making the video, and I say this in the video, I make it clear that I did believe that he was serious, like 100% serious about this. And I don't have any regrets about that statement. I don't, I haven't changed my mind on any of those statements. But I will say, I don't know, it's like, what motivates any cheater to do the things they do? It's like, I think it can be just like money or views or clout. It could be just because, like, especially at the top level, I mean, like, this is something that Carl Jobs touches on a lot. It's just like when people think like at the top level that they deserve a certain time, they'll just do whatever they want to get that. And I mean, so it's like that's why it's more common at the top level for people to cheat this way.
Well,
and I kind of I looked at it like this. He's been speed running about 6 months to a year less than I have, and he's got a very similar time in 16 star to what I have. And here's the thing: he's got a family, he's got kids. I think, for me personally, at that 3-year mark, I kind of reached a point of saying, hey, am I going to get any better? I'm getting really frustrated. I'm getting really burnt out of streaming this every single day. I mean, and maybe that was what his thought process was. We did reach out here at the Gaming Dads podcast. We did reach out to him to ask, hey, if he would like to possibly appear as well. He saw the message. He did not reply, and I did get notified about a day or so later that he did comment on his stream about us reaching out and how he wasn't sure if he was going to.
That's crazy.
But I can see where, if you're doing the same thing over and over, it it does get frustrating, and maybe that was his way of, tossing in some flair, I guess. But, but I agree with you. What I decided to do, so that you're aware, I went back and tried to watch as much as the original VOD that I could.
Right.
And I got the same feeling that you did. Of, he honestly believed that, or was portraying that it was 100% real. So now, kind of moving away from that topic just a little bit, what's in the future for you? I mean, that's massive.
Yeah,
first
a little bit.
Popping off. I mean,
it's a little bit.
What do you see down the road? I've been friends with EasyScape for quite a while, and Carl Jobs. I've chatted with him a couple of times. So what's in the future for Charlie Brown 64? I guess
I have a few things in mind. I mean, I really do. I mean, like, obviously Easy and Carl, like, they're like big inspirations for me. Like, I think I attribute like my editing style in this video and like the reason it turned out like as well as it did to like the fact that I've basically seen all of their videos. I've been watching their videos for like the past 3 or 4 years, like,
right.
That's how, like, that's just kind of how I learned how this kind of style is done. So like I want to do more of that. I'm already working on another video.
Awesome.
It's gonna be out hopefully mid to late January, but if it needs more time than that, I'm gonna give it more time than that. I don't know, but it's gonna be another cheater video. It's about just like different cheaters in Mario 64, and then after that, I'm gonna probably just pivot to other non-cheating Mario 64 or other speedrunning content. I think I have like something pretty good going here, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of a waste to not pursue it. And besides that, I'm also just beginning streaming. I've still do runs of this game. I've been doing runs since like I want to say April. My stream's been obviously kind of getting pretty relatively bigger recently.
Yep, I've been lurking quite a bit. If you haven't learned, I don't chat a ton. I do lurk quite a bit, and but I have been lurking and the feedback that you're getting is just phenomenal. Even in your streams, it's really good. And the fact that with you and your community, I'm also in your Discord as well, so I kind of sit back and just watch with you, and then Youngest Gravy as well, making those rules perfectly clear to the community of, hey, this is how we want to approach this, and that we won't tolerate, certain things is phenomenal to me. That's not something that we've seen, especially in the speedrunning community over the past year. We've seen a lot of people who end up amassing this larger community and then weaponizing it.
Yeah, I just don't believe in that. Like, and that's ridiculous.
Agreed.
Well, and I wanted to, speaking of weaponizing, I wanted to get your take on the whole dream situation. This is you kind of had these two things come out at the exact same time. I think that the dream situation kind of overshadowed what the video that you made. I think that had the dream situation not happened, I think that we would be a lot more hard focused on this particular one. It's getting a lot of, like, again, 4 million views isn't something to sleep on, but you also had this dream situation going on at the exact same time that you posted this video, right? And I think it's interesting because you talk about someone almost unknown, right, in the Mario community to a certain degree, doing this fake blindfold speedrunning. Now you've got Dream, who is the biggest speedrun YouTuber, probably, arguably. So I wanted to know what your take was on that, considering the time frame of this all going on, and what your opinion was of Dream and how he handled that situation, and whether or not he did cheat.
I mean, I honestly disagree with the fact that, like, I don't think that the Dream situation overshadowed this at all more than, like, it would have naturally done. I mean, first of all, like, this guy I made a video on, he's a small time streamer, like he only, like, he's had like maybe 20 viewers or something like that. So it's like, I did not expect this video to get 4 million views. So maybe, like, so that's why I gave him, like, so much exposure. But it's like, I think, like, I'm trying to think of how to word this. It's like, if anything, the Dream situation made this bigger. I think one of the reasons why the video did as well as it did was because, like, people already had cheaters on their brain, so, like, and people see, oh, there's another cheater doing Mario 64 stuff, and then, like, maybe this is interesting. So I think that's part of why, like, I think, like, part of why this did so well, I think I was at an extremely good time. Like, this topic just, like, fell into my lap at, like,
I agree,
perfect time, and it was just like, yeah. And I think that, like, compared to Dream, like, the Dream thing is so much bigger than this, like, because this is, like, a guy with 15 million subscribers and just, like, one of the biggest followings on the internet. I think that's way more important of a thing, honestly.
And what's interesting is, like you said, there hasn't been a verified cheater in Super Mario 64 since, like, 2014. But the past few years, there's been speculation. There's definitely been speculation of people coming from other communities that have been busted for cheating, and moving into the SM64 world, and being defended by a lot of people, but a lot of people still questioning. And we've had this conversation on our podcast quite a few times now, specifically with speeding and with cheating and speedrunning. How do we start to combat this? Like you said, we're on the honor system. So you destroy that honor system, then the integrity of the speedrun is dead, and there's no point in even having the leaderboards at that point. But we've kind of thrown around different ideas of verifications. And for me personally, if an individual cheats at a speedrun, right? They made that mistake in their community. Their time should be removed from the leaderboard. And go through that verification process once again, and we give them another chance, but they're going to be under a lot of scrutiny for pretty much everything they submit. And then if they do it again, they're done. Like, now you're making a conscious choice. You're not just making a silly choice, out of desperation. But that conversation's been brought up in Easyscape's videos. It's been brought up in Carl Jop's videos as well. What is your take? How do you think that we can fix this issue of cheating and speedrunning, because every year, every 6 months or so, we get something will pop up about someone cheating somewhere in some speedrun community.
Now, are you talking about like people specifically like going from one game to another, or are you talking about
Yes.
Okay, so like yeah, that's something that's been covered recently in one of Carl's videos in particular. I remember it was the one about Mario 1 cheating runs. And
Yes.
I think that yeah, it's like I don't know, I think the mod teams of any particular game, they're fantastic at their jobs, you know, like they work very hard to like crawl all these runs to make sure that they're all good, you know. But I think yeah, it's very difficult for these mod teams to communicate with each other and to like,
Yes.
you know, just make sure that like people, because even then it's like what do you do? It's like they're not gonna, if someone's caught cheating in one game, they usually go under a different name later, you know. It's
Right.
like there's no good way to communicate this. And honestly, it's like I don't know. I just think there's almost no good solution for it, at least with the current like system that people have. I think if people want to cheat, they're going to find ways to cheat, and maybe they'll be caught eventually. I'm sure there's a few that have flown under the radar.
Well, and
I don't know.
and on that end, you know, not so much on the catching the cheater side of it, but more on the flip side of, you know, how it's presented to the community.
Right.
We've seen it presented to communities in very, very poor ways, and then, you know, we talk about weaponizing the community, right? How do you think that mod teams? Because I agree with you. I think that what the mod teams are doing is hard work, and I think that they're good at what they are doing, and I think that Speedrun.com in particular, they do a good job at, you know, allowing those communities to moderate themselves, right? How do you think that mod teams can better present their findings and better like show, you know, to the community, hey, this is what we found, so that we don't have a situation like with Dream, what we have right now, where it's just, you know, the two sides are just absolutely destroying each other.
I mean, it's like I think the Dream situation. I mean, in particular, I mean that's just a very unique situation because
It
first
is.
of all, it's like, I mean, in most situations, right, the mod team has most of the power, and like the players are just like, you know, sort of at the mercy of the mod team, but for good reason, you know, like the mods are the ones to sign these things. But it's a little different when like the guy they're accusing has a following of millions, you know, who
Right.
like and many of those millions are just like in full like blind support of him. So it's like I don't know. It's just like it's a little different in the Dream situation. When like I do not envy the mod's position of like, you know, writing this like 20-page paper about like, you know, that's kind of like that's how you know it's serious when they're writing this like peer-reviewed thing about just how like someone cheated
It's
in
a
a video
thesis
game. Like that's
statement.
insane.
It's a
Yeah, exactly. It's
thesis
insane
statement.
to me that like both sides are having like, you know, like statisticians, you know, astrophysicists or whatever, like doing their thing, and it's like I don't know. It's like it's so crazy to me that like it's gotten to this point. I don't know.
Well, and here's what's interesting. You know, Pack, who was the former owner of Speedrun.com, a good friend
Mhm.
of mine. You know, Speedrun.com actually just changed ownership back in October. It is now owned by Elo Entertainment, who also runs a big Valorant website. They own a big Dota website, and so one of the things that I've been kind of talking with them about a little bit is um, almost creating not a standard that's going to control every community, but a almost kind of like how the NCAA works. You know, the NCAA works for, you
Hmm.
know, basketball and football, and you know, they kind of keep things on an even keel, I guess. Um, and waiting on a response from them about that, on how record keeping. So, for example, there are some communities that allow milliseconds. The SM64 community last year, I think they changed it.
Hmm.
Um, you know, what do you think about that? It's like a hey, if you get caught in cheating in any particular game, that it's going to result in this.
I mean, yeah, I think that's good. I don't know what system they could possibly come up with to like curtail. I mean, just like people like getting caught cheating, changing their names, and then just going to another game and like repeating that. Like, I feel like unless like you know if they have like especially if they don't have like any kind of like identification, like no face cam, no like mic or something
Right.
like that. So it's like I don't know. There's just no way of. I legitimately don't know what they're gonna do about that. Like, I think it's just like, I don't
Now,
know. That's just like, what are they gonna do?
some people have actually been advocating here recently for hand cams, especially in a lot of SM64 or Nintendo 64 runs,
That was a big thing
because
last year. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that.
and if you remember all of the drama and issues that happened in the GoldenEye community within the past couple of years, that was one of the solutions. Was, hey, hand cam, because at that point we can compare the video with what's happening on screen, so we can see if you're tasking, we can see any of that information. What do you think about that?
That's a good idea, honestly. I mean, especially with like, I think older games that are easier to test. Isn't that pretty much the standard for like a lot of NES games? I know where
It
like
is.
it's
We
just
see it a
so
lot.
easy
Yeah.
to task like old games like that. That's like, what are you gonna do?
There was it was a kind of a meme video, I guess. Um, I think it was, yeah, it was Carl Jobs that went over the the worst fake speedrun on YouTube. He was doing
Oh
like an
yeah,
SMB, and it was just the dude was eating pizza and
yeah,
drinking
the bottom
Coke.
one video. Yeah.
Yeah, so um, you know, where you could tell obviously, hey, this person is not doing an input
Right.
here and here. But we've had cheating and speedrunning in the GTA community where files were modified, and it took years to notice that files were actually modified to make vehicles drive just slightly faster.
Hmm.
Um, and I can provide that info for you after the podcast. Um,
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and and so the vehicle was driving faster, and how they found it was this person who was not a world record holder at the moment, but someone just happened to be looking at his videos and started comparing it to tasks, and how the vehicles were driving faster in their videos than tasks. So um, that individual has since moved on to other communities now,
Hmm.
after receiving their ban. So I think you're right. I don't think it's an easy solution. Um, but I think it's something that everybody in the community needs to be on the lookout for. Everybody wants that amazing time. Everybody wants, especially in SM64, which is by far one of the most, if not the most, ran game of all time.
Oh yeah.
Um, Everybody wants to be on that leaderboard, but Cheese, Alan Cheese has been running this game for 8+ years. Same thing with Simply. Same thing with Benny. Same thing with Puncation. Like, that's why they're on the level they are on, because they put in the time, they put in the practice all the time.
Hmm.
But there are a lot of people that after a year they get frustrated that, oh my gosh, I only have an 18 and 16 star. What do I do? You know. So, and I think that was the situation with Dream and his particular run. It wasn't a world record, but if you talk to, I was talking to my kid the other day who watches a lot of Minecraft stuff. She is 14. She's like, wait, what do you mean it wasn't a world record? Like, no, it was like a 16th place run or something like that.
I mean, it was like it's a little misleading because I think it was, I think, third place at the time. But
Yes.
Dream, like in his response, he was like, "Oh, it was only like 16th place or something." I
Yep.
think that's one part of like he's trying to mislead people and thinking, "Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It wasn't even that high on the leaderboards." When it like no, it was like third place at the time. That's like not. It's a pretty big difference.
Well, and we really appreciate this type of video. This is the video that you created for cheating and speedrunning. That's what I like to sit and binge on YouTube and watch. So I know, me personally, I'm really looking forward to the content that you're going to create, and I'm excited for it. Because I know you probably don't feel this way with this particular video, but for the longest time, Easyscape and Carl um, have led that pack, especially on the SM64 side.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, so I'm really excited to see another content creator come up with ways to look at these things.
I'm excited too. I mean, it's weird because, like I said, like after this video about like I'm pretty much covering like every Mario 64 cheater, like major one in history. So what was I saying? It was about how like I mean, yeah, I just hope this next video will be good. I mean, it's just like I don't expect it to get anywhere near 4 million views. I mean, like the algorithm shows me this one time, and so
Right.
I think the real test to like how well my YouTube and stuff does will be my second and like onward videos. You know,
Well,
I think it'll. Sorry.
so my last question for you is, we see, we've all talked about, how much cheating matters to us within speedrunning, what it does to the community, and we see how it harms the community. And we've talked about this in the past is, what is speedrunning as an art form, as in gaming and everything. What is speedrunning to you? Like what kind of place does it hold for you?
That's a really good question. I mean, like, Thero, I know you had the same opinion initially. Where like, I thought speedrunning was like the dumbest thing.
Yes.
Initially.
I think all of us did. I think all of us were like, what is this?
I respected it like greatly. Like I think people putting years of their time into anything like that's an extremely noble and respectable thing, no matter what it is. And so it's like for me personally, I just thought like to try to shave off like seconds off of like an hour long time or something. I think I'd go insane trying to do that.
Agreed.
But then like I saw like I don't know. I just started like last year. I started just watching like Cheese get the 138, watching like do whatever, get really close to 46, and I was like, this seems pretty cool. Maybe I'll try it. So I tried it. And then like, I don't know. And then, more records got broken. I watched Do Whatever get 46 live. I didn't see Simply get like his world record, but I saw the video. Everyone,
it was so wholesome.
Very wholesome, like insanely wholesome. And like those two moments really just like changed my opinion and really made me realize just how rewarding and meaningful this hobby can be to people. And since then, like, it's been one of the most, like, I do a bunch of different hobbies, but like this has been one of the most rewarding, like by far. I really enjoyed my time here. It's been just really sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just like a way to express yourself, and a way to just like really hone in on a skill, hone in on your, your mental game. I know you guys talk about how important mental game is, and I agree. Like, I've just learned so much about myself and about just like, I don't know, other people, even just hanging out in the community. Like it's been a really cool time. I don't know.
And to kind of put a capstone on that, I agree wholeheartedly. I've had the chance to go to quite a few speedrunning events, and if you watch people talk about GDQ, 9 times out of 10, if they're like, yeah, I'm going to GDQ, it's a little bit for the speedrunning, but it's for the community.
Oh yeah.
The group of people that I've met, commentating, running, all of those good things that I've met, over the past few years has been phenomenal. Like the community as a whole is great, and I think honestly that kind of to bring it full circle, that's why a lot of people's communities do defend them like they do, because they're like, how could this person cheat? How could they, not my streamer, there's no way. So I mean, I get that, but from me, I'll tell you right now, you've got a fan from me, and I'm sure Scotch feels the same.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I'm stoked to see what comes out from you, and we need more content creation about speedrunning like this, and I hope whatever it is that you end up doing, it's going to be good.
Let me tell you, I'm as excited as you guys. Like, seriously.
So just be prepared to get a whole bunch of like either Discord or Twitter DMs and be like, "Hey, did you see this? Did you see this?" And I'm just talking about just for me. What are you talking about?
Well, listen.
Good content.
Well, listen. Go ahead. Let us know what are you going to be doing. What's the social medias that we should be looking at?
Follow me on Twitch at CharlieBrown64. I'm on Twitter at SeeTheseBees. If you want to,
I love it.
You'll find it. I don't know. Yeah, that's the only thing that was available. And then subscribe to my YouTube. I'm sure you already are at this point, though. Like if you're listening to this. So
we will put all the links in the description below. Charlie Brown, it's been a pleasure. I'm really hoping that when your next video comes out, we can have you on again.
I'd be down. I'd love to.
you share very similar views to what Scotch and I have been sitting here complaining about for the past year. Um, so, we're really excited to have you on, and we thank you so much for coming out today.
All right, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. I've never been on something like this before, but it's really exciting to me.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a good time to announce this as well, so that people are aware. The Gaming Dads podcast has expanded once again. So this episode that's going up right now, the one that you're listening to, will actually be available on Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes as well.
Wow. Look at that.
So expanding out, Gaming Dad's making some big stuff happen, making some big changes for 2021. So I will make sure that we provide those links too, if it's easier for you to listen to in the car with Spotify or iTunes or what have you. But we'll continue to post these podcasts here on YouTube as well. But now you have more options.
Well, again, yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Charlie Brown. That's going to be it for the podcast for this week, though. We'll leave it, like I said, all links will be in the description. And, yeah, anything else from you, Tharoah?
That's going to be it for me. I want everybody to have a great new year this year. Be safe. And we'll be back with you next week producing some great content.
All right.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Charlie.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Charlie. And as always, good gaming.